Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. We're presented by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Time to shine the light on women's rugby. And Coach Murph able to bring aboard some good help, as we say in the trade, in assistant coach Abby Gustaitis. And Abby, with your background and, as a player and now trying to offer things up as a coach, what made you want to get into coaching after playing the game of rugby?
I love this sport. It's given so much to me, a career, friends, family, a lot of life lessons. And I just wanted to stay involved. I'm super passionate about the sport. It's ever changing and the community is really second to none. I have some of my closest friends through this sport and I just wanted to stay involved. And I missed out on having a female mentor in the space when I was coming up through the pathway and starting out playing. And so just to stay in that community and pass along any knowledge and experience that I've gained along the way and hopefully make the path a little easier for the next generation.
Also getting in on the ground level. I mean, this is a program at Navy now that they've upgraded to varsity status, and kind of being able to slide in here with Murph and help build this program from the ground up. Was that kind of maybe an extra incentive as well?
Absolutely. It's an exciting time. Varsity, it's going to have its own hiccups along the way, but like you said, it's sort of this fresh start for the program, and the Naval Academy have an abundance of resources, and it's really just a great place. Everyone really rallies behind the women and rugby in general. So I'm excited to start to piece it together a bit and grateful that Murph gave me the call up.
You mentioned the community of rugby, and I do believe it is unique, even as a club program at the Naval Academy for both the men and the women. There was an insatiable appetite for rugby and the tight-knit community of the alumni as well. As you've played it and observed it, what is it about this community that just embraces this sport really so passionately?
I think specifically in America, we've never played any sport quite like it. And one of my favorite things is you go face your opponent on the pitch. It's brutal if you've ever seen a rugby game. It's absolutely physical, no pads, and it's full contact. But then immediately afterwards, you're socializing with your opposition, you're talking about the match, and you're catching up. And it's just these underlying passion and love and respect that really pull together the rugby community. I grew up mostly playing basketball my whole life. We barely would shake hands after the game. And with rugby, it's like, no, let's have a meal. Let's hang out for hours. Let's talk about how you absolutely smashed me on the field, but now we're good friends. And it's this welcoming spirit of the sport and this overarching theme that everyone belongs here. And that's something that has drawn me to rugby. And I know a lot of other people.
You get a chance to play at Maryland, and you understand the academic component. I mean, look, physiology, neurobiology. You understand the academic component that these young women face each and every day. As you eventually go out and try to recruit student athletes, how much does that help that you really do understand that academic component and clearly can sell one of the best educations that a young woman can find?
I think it's so important to create well-balanced and well-rounded humans versus just rugby players. We all have that passion, and I do not want to leave rugby behind, but it's so important to continue to build your verticals in every aspect, whether that's art or education or music, whatever it may be that you're also passionate about. And so you can set yourself up and have a career and have something else that you want to strive towards, because for a lot of these people and women in general, the midshipmen, they're going to play rugby for 4 years and then they're going to go serve. And it's such a huge thing to make sure they have their education, but it is always a balancing act. Rugby can be that outlet, but it can also be this area that you want to get better in. You want to be competitive, you want to be the best. And that's part of how these women end up at the Naval Academy, is they have that like like you said, that insatiable desire to be the best. And I'm hoping to bring that out on the rugby field.
Now, you continue to play professionally. I imagine you're going to be out there on the pitch at times, contributing when necessary during practice, might you not?
I very well may. I haven't put on just yet, but I love to play this sport, and I definitely will be the one probably stepping in to the field. But we have so many women out. It's actually really incredible. I love seeing the numbers. That was something at Maryland we never quite had. It was like, all right, do we have enough people to pull together an A side? Certainly not a B side, but here we have 3 sides worth of women coming out to training. So that part really is exciting as well.
I was going to say, too, I mean, you've seen this sport at its highest level. When you go out now and try to identify players, to you, what does a successful player, a player that you think can contribute at this level, look like?
First thing for me is always attitude. You have to be a good person and be willing to learn. And luckily, being at the Naval Academy, I think they have that requirement as well for the most part. So that's pretty standard across the board. But then I just look at how they move in space. Like, are they aware of their body? And can they catch the ball? It's such a big thing. And even coming from the national team, and we tried a lot of crossover sports, and you were world class in track, maybe you'll be good at rugby. But if you've never played a sport with a ball, it's very unnatural to a lot of people. So that's something I look for, because I don't expect you to be able to read the game of rugby. It's such a complicated sport. There's so much strategy and tactics behind it, but sort of just how the individual moves and how they interact with their teammates also goes a long way.
Not many athletes can say they've been an Olympian for their country. Can you kind of place a value on what that meant to you to be one of those people?
It's definitely something I can't even put into words or explain, let alone a value. Achievement of a lifetime. Obviously, it's, like you said, a small percentage of folks that get to claim that title, but just the pride felt. And I think I'm in good company. Being back in Annapolis is like that proud of like pulling on the red, white, and blue, that jersey, and just how significant it is. And I just hope to leave it in a better place and for that next generation, because we're only going to continue to get better at rugby. But it was worth all the ups and downs of the journey, all the times you didn't make the team. And I think that's something that I hope to instill in these women as well, is the road's never clear and it's never easy, and you're going to face obstacles, but it's how you overcome it. And if you have that drive to create your own path and to just continue down a path that you want, then I think you'll be successful.
Women's athletics has covered an amazing amount of ground through the years. I don't think we've ever seen a time where women's athletics are getting more promotion, being emphasized. There was a time where it seemed like it was almost a secret that there was women's athletics. I mean, even going back to when I was in high school, I mean, the state of Maryland didn't acknowledge women's sports in many categories. To see how far women's athletics has come to be one of those athletes that's achieved so much, just to be a part of that. What's that journey been like to where now, women are accepted as great athletes, and we're promoting them, we're observing them, and we're celebrating them now, and it's no longer a big secret?
It's still funny to me that people get shocked when they watch women compete in sport, and they're like, whoa, this is competitive. Wow, rugby, that's a big hit. And for a lot of people, they don't know rugby is one of those few sports that has the exact same rules and regulations as men's and women's, complete equity. And that is something that drew me to the sport. I grew up with 2 older brothers, and so I was always getting beat down, trying to hold my own. I had to play baseball because there weren't enough girls to play softball. And they're like, their pitcher's a girl. Like, oh, she has long hair. She can't see. Like, oh my goodness. But just seeing the rise, and I know it's just going to get more and more audiences and more eyes on the sport. And it's really exciting. I have 2 nieces, a goddaughter, and I know that if they want to play sport, that anything they want to achieve is out there. And now the world is opening up to it. We see it with the Women's World Cup and the Olympics. This next Olympics is the first time that the athletes will be completely even. So the amount of men competing is finally the exact same that the amount of women competing. So that's something really cool. And just like you said, showing a long way that sport has come.
Abby, awesome stuff. Appreciate you taking so much time for us, and best of luck as you all get rolling this weekend at home against Westchester, and hope it's the first of many visits with us.
Thanks so much. Appreciate the time.